What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Don't forget to stop by Studio One Tutorials. Pick up your premium membership. It's 50 cents a day. Now, today we're going to be doing a Lil Baby and Gunna type beat. Now, this is going to go into, using a guitar sample from my YSL guitars. We're going to be using drums from These Drums Slap. And I'm going to show you guys how to go about taking a guitar sample loop and being able to match the 808s with the chord progression inside that loop, so you get that signature YSL type of feel. Alright, what's up, everybody? Now we are going to go through this real quick. What I did here is I used a loop from my YSL guitars pack. It's a really good pack. It's all like done with like the whole YSL Lil Baby, the Young Thug, Gunna type of stuff in mind. It's all pretty much guitar arps like that. Really good high quality stuff, processed through Zulu and the WA-273 preamp, so it's it's real nice, wide sounding, loud, 3D. But what I wanted to talk about today was the I wanted to go into the bass line, and when we look at this 808 pattern, and we pull it up on MIDI, what we're looking at is it's a nice, if you see it, it's a nice melodic 808 bass pattern that doesn't stay stagnant, and it moves with the chords of the guitar. Now, the way that I achieved that was real easy. When you have a loop inside Studio One, and this is why Studio One is the best DAW, especially for using loops. FL Studio definitely doesn't have anything like this. You could just grab your loop, take it up to the chord track, and you engage the chord track by hitting this music note right here. And as you can see, it tells you the chords that is inside the loop. Really easy. So even if you don't have Melodyne, it's really easy to follow along. So you see that this is C sharp minor, so I just go ahead and follow along with C sharp minor. When you get to this bar right here, you see that this changes to an A flat, or you also call it G sharp. It's the same note, and then here it's the root note of the root note of this chord is B, right? So I just use B, and then I jump up to an octave right there. Real simple and easy. Now, another thing I did to make this beat, because it's just the loop going over and over and over again. But when you're working with loops, it's really easy to keep things creative and everything. You just have to work on your drums. So if we look at both of my drum patterns, you notice real quick what I did was I changed the kicks, and I alternate this kick pattern every other bar. So you see this kick pattern is more spread out and spaced, and then when you look at this one I've added more kicks, and it's a much more busy pattern. I have this roll over here, so when you listen to it, it's it's not a 4-bar drum pattern, it becomes an 8-bar drum pattern, which will just allow way more variation. And when you add small and subtle variations, what that does is that the way that your ear works is your ear is constantly trying to figure out the puzzle of music, right? And if it can figure out a pattern, the way that we get bored of listening to things, and the reason why variation is so important, is if we if we can, if your mind can anticipate the next pattern and it guesses correct 100% on each one of the parts that's coming, then you'll get bored. And that's what makes our short attention spans just switch the music, right? So it's little small variations like this that aren't huge that can mean the difference from somebody listening to your entire beat and somebody pressing fast forward. And you see now that now that I have that variation here, I take it a step further is when I have this next, because now I'm thinking of these two patterns as one, right? So when I have this next set of two patterns, this is where I switch it up, put halftime on the guitar, there's no drums here, so that's even more variation. And then boom, we're back into what you expect here. Bringing that busy kick pattern. Now the next variation, instead of varying the second part of the pattern, I vary the first part of the pattern, right? By taking that kick out, I'm altering the low end and I'm altering the low energy, which is again just enough subtle variation to keep the listener interested. And then back to halftime. Put it all together. Now in the hi-hats, I have a higher hi-hat, and then we do the type of like Southside pitch down rolls, and then I'm using a second hi-hat at a different pitch to alternate between the two different pitches. That's going to add a lot of variation to the high end, because the hi-hats are responsible for so much of the high frequency content. Adding pitches to them and having varying pitches will, even though it's a percussive instrument, it's going to function as more of a melodic piece in this particular composition. And then to even take it a step further, what I would do is I would use something, either Pancake, which is a free VST, or use something like Panman from from Sound Toys. And you see it'll shoot from your right to your left real fast, which is nice. Yeah, so again, to recap, go ahead and, when you're using loops, first you want to make sure that you pick a great guitar loop, like the stuff that I have in YSL. All these drums are from the These Drums Slap kit, available on StudioOneTutorials.com. Use Studio One, guys. It's $17 a month in Splice, and it's rent to own. It's not like all the other programs where you rent and you don't get to own it, and then you own the pro version. So all you got to do is drag a loop up onto the chord track, and you're going to have your chords here laid out that you could follow. And then there's other cool things inside Studio One where you can latch your MIDI to these chords and it'll automatically snap to the chord tones that are being played. which is a really great tip. You want to just make sure that you add very simple and subtle variations. A great way to do that is by changing the kick or changing the 808. Remember, hi-hats are high energy, 808s are low energy. Those are going to be your two big energy points, and as long as you're alternating in between those type of vibes, you're going to have an arrangement that makes sense and that is effective. So this is CMP with Craftmaster Productions, Studio1tutorials.com. Keep it simple, but do not be basic, and we will see you on the next one.